up, my friends? Welcome to My Chemical Fancast. I'm Haley.
And I'm Kat.
And this is a podcast dedicated to all things My Chemical Romance. This week we're discussing a Patreon request, which is for the live DVD, The Black Parade is Dead. We've kind of touched on this a couple times before, but we haven't gone in depth, so we're going to dive in.
Our schedule has been kind of fucked up this year because we expected to be at this point talking about MCR shows. Remember the MCR shows that were going to happen and then didn't?
Do you remember when life was good?
Do you remember when, a month from now, I was going to be seeing them so many times in a row?
Oh, God. We can't dwell on that because it's just going to make us upset.
I know. What a bummer.
I know.
Next year.
We hope.
It hurts. All right. Let's not dwell on that. As Haley said, let's look back instead to the past and dwell on that.
Like we've been doing for 2 years straight.
Hold on a second. What year was The Black Parade is Dead?
2007.
That's what I thought. God, what a simpler time.
Yeah. What a great time.
Imagine that year in 2007. I'm in 7th grade. I don't know about you.
Yeah. I think I was in 8th.
Hot Topic still has the red letters, you know?
Yes.
It still looks like a dungeon. You still feel like a badass for going inside of it.
Looks like chiller font.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just going to cope with this year by regressing into my 13, 14-year-old self and living in that headspace for a little while.
POV. You're 13. You're walking into your mall's Hot Topic to buy some stripy arm warmers.
Oh my God.
You've bought the stripy arm warmers because Gerard Way wore a long stripy t-shirt under his jacket on the Black Parade is Dead recording, and you want to look like that.
You know, it wasn't even a t-shirt. Those were they only went up to his shoulder.
Oh, so it was arm warmers, just not the finger parts. Or did it have finger parts?
No, it didn't. I think it just honestly, TBQH, I think he had a long striped sock and then cut holes in the end of it for his hand.
Oh my God.
That's what it looked like.
Wow. Arm warmers are such a thing then. I don't think kids still wear arm warmers, do they?
I have no idea. I haven't seen a child in years.
I don't think children are real.
They're fucking fake. The government planted them like they planted the birds.
Exactly. They're actually robots. Yeah. I remember my friends all wearing arm warmers, but I was never cool enough to wear them, you know?
Wow.
But I always wanted to. I always thought they looked really cool. I was when I grow up, I'll wear some arm warmers.
Yeah. I got some. I got these long gloves that were the fingerless gloves that went up to your elbow.
Oh, yeah.
And they had a dagger on each of them.
That's so cool.
I think I still have them, honestly.
Oh my God. They were also the ones that laced up like a corset.
I was just about to say, I have 2 pairs of those.
My friend Erin wore the ones that laced up like a corset. She was very cool.
Yeah. I have the trip ones that lace up and they have lace underneath it. I have 2 pairs of those kinds. So simpler times, better times. So we open in The Black Parade is Dead. The crowd that's there, let's talk about the size for a second.
They're huge.
You sometimes forget how massive they were. MCR as a whole, how massive they were as a band, but then you see the size of that crowd and you're like, oh shit.
Yeah, it's giant. Hold on, I'm gonna see if I can find a number for that place.
Oh boy.
20,000 overall capacity is approximately 26,000.
Wow.
It's dark, so it kind of looks like more. It's also a dome place.
Yeah.
But holy fuck.
Yeah.
Oh my God. It looks like a massive crowd. Everyone is hyped.
Mm-hmm.
As they should be.
Oh, before we even get into the performance, backstage, I love this.
The backstage parts are really good.
We have them walking down the hallway in slow-mo. And
yes.
The look on Gerard's face is just the most. He is about to perform. He feels good. He knows he's going to fucking nail it. He knows he's going to kill it. And he has this smirk on his face. It's
he's
just
very
incredible.
cocky before he goes on.
Yeah.
I love Frank in the backstage shots because like he's chill and like he's hanging out with Ray and it's just like very bro, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And they do the high fiving thing.
Yes.
That Mikey talked about in that interview.
Yeah, they have to miss one high five, not on purpose.
Yeah.
I was trying to look to see if I could see like if anyone missed one, but I couldn't see.
I know. I always look. I always look and don't see anything.
Yeah. Damn. Maybe they hit every high five and they were like, damn, this is a shit show. So, they go on stage. We have the gurney. Gerard is nuts. So this is the last performance of them as the band, the Black Parade. So they can shed the characters after this. Must have been such a relief. He's like, thank God, this is the last fucking time I have to do this. These nasty ass costumes.
Yeah, they look real fucked up. Like, think back to when they had the premiere at the MTV VMAs, you know, on 30 Rock, and how shiny those buttons were, and like the gold, like it was just all so fresh. And then they're coming out at this show looking like they've been run over by a truck. Like, these costumes are wrecked. They are destroyed.
Yep. Terrible. And now they're in one of them. I think Gerard's is in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, isn't it?
I don't know.
Or it's in the Hard Rock Museum. Hard Rock Museum, not Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Hard Rock Museum. That's what it is.
Yeah, Frank's guitar is in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah. So he performs. Then we get to Dead, and he does the Mexico.
Yes. So good.
He does the high knee jumps. How is he maintaining his breath? How is he doing this?
I mean, he's an athlete, you know?
God.
He's an Olympic athlete.
I mean, this dude smokes. This dude does not. I know he's not taking care of his voice like he should.
No.
How's he doing this?
I think, you know, I've mentioned this before. I remember the auto-tuned mic situation in this show, which really bothers me.
Yeah.
I think that's part of how he's doing it. But
maybe.
Also, he's just like, I mean, seriously, like, I'm not joking. Like, he is an athlete. Like, it takes a lot of like endurance and breath control to do all this shit and sing at the same time, you know? And sometimes, you know, our guy, you know, our bud, like, is not the best at it. Like, you know, sometimes he stretches a little far.
I know.
I'm not blaming him.
I am. But
he also, like, does it way better than I could, you know?
Yeah, I mean, I couldn't fucking do that.
No, I absolutely could not. I guarantee you.
Yeah. So hand lick number 1 is here. Take a shot every time Gerard licks his hand. I think he only does it twice in this DVD, you know, but it's a staple. It's good. It's it's comforting. It's like
it's like coming home.
It's like coming home. That's what I was gonna say.
What I love about this show is that sometimes with their bigger shows like this, Gerard goes, especially later on, you know, Gerard like tends to like fall back on more like an entertainer, you know, or like just like a little bit more family friendly. And in this show, it's like, it feels very unique because it's so big, it's being recorded, but he's still like got this grimy like Project Revolution energy, you know? And I love that combination.
Yeah, this is the end of 2007, so he's still right in that pro rev high.
Yeah. And the band is like on fire in this performance. Can we talk about that? Like,
yeah, for sure.
So fucking good.
Toro's solo. He's like, the whole concert, he is so into his guitar. Not that he isn't always, but like he has several.
No, he's locked in. He's in the zone in this one.
He has like power stands. He sticks his tongue out at several moments.
The power stance from both him and Frank is amazing. There's just huge power stance energy.
Yeah.
They're like legs as wide as possible. The widest triangle we can make.
It's good shit.
And also, like, this stage is giant.
Yeah, there's a lot of room.
Yeah, it's like, it looks so different from other shows because the stage is huge and they haven't decorated it very much, you know?
Mm-hmm.
It looks very different from their Project Revolution setup, you know?
Yeah, very.
It's just like a bare rock band just out there, just like in this void.
Yeah.
In this void of an empty stage.
Mm-hmm. So This Is How I Disappear comes on. It's my song.
It's really good.
Thank you, Mr. Toro, for my life. He knows how important these harmonies are. He's holding it down this whole show on the harmony front.
I was gonna say, like, they did really nice harmonies here.
Yeah.
And even Frank, like, got up there.
He did. And Gerard is like playing to the cameras. He's like, I know you're watching. I'm going to give you a show. And the audience yelling out, fuck. The one part, one brain. This fandom is one brain.
I think what I really like about how they look in this setup is that it feels very symbolic of The Black Parade is Dead because, you know, they've got these worn out costumes. Their stage setup is sort of this in between where they have some of their Black Parade set items, but not all of them, you know? And it's like Gerard's got the makeup, but it's all fucked up. And he even like comes out on stage looking like kind of fucked up. Like maybe he already played a set. And I don't know if they intended that, but I really like how it sort of looks like the transition between the fake band and like the actual band from New Jersey, you know?
Yeah. Well, you know, him looking fucked up probably isn't on purpose because every show on this tour, they played two sets. They played one as the Black Parade and one as My Chemical Romance, and Venganza is their second set.
Yeah.
So, like, he's probably ready to drop, you know? Like, talk about fucking exhausting.
Well, this would have come before Venganza, right? I assume. I've just always assumed that. I don't know if that's true.
Yeah, for sure. I'm not saying he did the MCR set before that. I'm just saying that, like, throughout the tour, like, you know, when you've done, like, a certain thing so many times, you just get lazy about it.
Yeah.
So, like, you're putting on your makeup and you're like, what the fuck ever? Just, like, smear some black eyeshadow over my eyeball. Just dip my face in baby powder. I don't give a shit anymore.
Yeah, he's like, I'll just hold my breath and dunk it in there.
Yeah. The only note I have on The Sharpest Lives is that every time I listen to The Sharpest Lives now, it feels incomplete without hearing the sound of Gerard's mic dropping on the floor.
I know. I just can't. I feel like such trash for expecting it, honestly. I judge myself so much.
I don't, because I think it's funny. I just think it's really funny, and I want to hear it every time now.
Imagine being in this crowd.
I do often.
Like, how incredible. And, like, how exhausted would you be when after the lights go dark for this, then you have Venganza after it?
God. I would have to sit down.
Yeah.
Like, I can't. I would have to be like, all right, listen, guys, don't trample me. I'm just going to take a break real quick. And when they start playing the Black Parade, the roar that happens when the G note hits.
When I was a young boy, my father took me into the city to see a marching band.
Yeah.
I love that.
Oh, man. I love seeing everyone's cell phones.
It's good, the flip phones.
Yes, the blue lights of the flip phones. It's beautiful. It's beautiful.
Yeah.
Should we talk about what is that? Should we talk about the second show?
Oh boy.
The second show
Sure.
is the Maxwell's Charity Show, aka maybe my favorite recorded show.
Wow, that's bold.
I know. There are a lot of great shows, but like the one that it's really contending with is the festival, the Roskilde Festival. But
Yeah.
holy shit, I love this recording, and I'm so glad that it's finally like on YouTube. I don't know how many people they packed into this fucking club. This club also doesn't exist anymore. But like, this is just a tiny ass club. The ideal setting to see My Chemin. They're way
Literally.
too big for the stage. They are bursting off the stage because they have too much fucking equipment.
Yeah, it's so ideal. Imagine.
It's absolutely a safety hazard. I'm just very surprised someone didn't fucking die.
I mean, they said like 4 times through the show, like, back the fuck up.
Oh yeah, people
So-
are getting suffocated left and right. Like,
For
but
sure.
it's glorious. And
Yeah.
like the band is like drenched in sweat 'cause it's probably so goddamn hot in there.
Yep. So
This
let's
is just like the dream.
It is so literally okay. This show is ideal. It's so small. Imagine you're in 2007. You're in Maxwell's. MCR is playing, and I'm Not Okay comes on, and you just grab Gerard Way's hand because he's that close. You can just grab his hand, and he holds on,
Yeah.
and he sings to you. This is one of the very few performances where they just wear street clothes, just like shit they wear
Yeah.
on the daily.
And it's
And
great.
It's so good. Can we talk about Ray's Peter Stop dancing shirt? Because
Yes.
what the fuck?
Oh my god.
I've been trying to figure out the mystery of that shirt for years.
I knew what that shirt meant at some point and then I forgot. So I'm sorry.
Oh, damn.
I've heard maybe it was like a Pete Wentz thing. I don't know.
Well, yeah, there definitely was a Pete Wentz thing because it had Pete's face on it.
Yeah, but I don't remember what the joke was.
I don't either.
But like, yeah, and this is, you know what I think of when I watch this show.
Yeah.
I think about how after Black Parade, when they were trying to do conventional weapons, they were like, I just wish we could be a small band, play in clubs. Like, I imagine this is what it would look like.
Mm-hmm.
And my God, I want that too. I want that too
Yeah.
so bad.
Yeah, I want that for them.
I want it.
You know, I think that they could do it. They would obviously sell out every fucking night, so there's not going to be like, it's not an issue of ticket sales. It's just, I think,
No, it's an issue of like capacity and dates
Yeah.
and people not dying.
yeah,
Because like, oh my God, people really got close to dying.
they really did. They got crushed up at the front.
Oh man, I remember hearing from someone who was at this show once, and I
Oh dear.
totally forgot everything they told me about it.
How could you?
I don't know. I'm a terrible person.
Wow. I can't believe this.
I know. I love this show because of how like back to basics it is. I love this show because they did, there's also the recording of that Bullet show they did at Maxwell's.
Mm-hmm.
I love that parallel. I love that growth.
Yeah.
I love like, again, they have their like grimy Project Revolution energy and they're clearly thriving off of this like small club energy,
Yeah, for sure.
Like this is, Gerard is great on big stages, but fuck, he's amazing on small stages. Like he's so good.
Mm-hmm. In Venom, I have just one note for Venom is blockade the kid that touch the sign.
Yes. What are the words? Who knows? Who cares?
Don't give a shit.
Who cares? And my favorite part of the show is the intro to Prison,
Yeah.
which is incredible at this show.
What? What? I can't fucking hear you! Because the band I'm in is too fucking loud! Let me hear y'all testify. Let me hear y'all testify. Well, let me hear y'all testify. When I hear y'all testify, here comes the judge. Cause here comes the judge. Cause here comes the judge. Cause here comes the judge. One, two, three, four. In the middle of a gunfight.
I have no words. I love it. I love the preacher vibes.
Yeah.
I love everything about it.
Yeah.
I love how exhausted Gerard is.
They were just having a great time though. I like that you can tell that they were having a really good time.
Oh yeah, especially like Frank. Like Frank is eating it up. He also
Yeah.
looks like very close to death by the end of the show. Like I'm very concerned for his health, but he survived.
Oh my gosh.
But like, yeah, like they're fucking living for this. And I'm like, I am too, dude. I am too.
Yeah. Can we just, for me, can we put in the clip of like Gerard after the Sharpest Lives?
Then fucking grimy. Just get grimy out there, I don't care. It's fucking hot, man. Woo! Hot time in the old town. Tune in. Ole! Ole!
This dude really just says things, huh?
What do you say?
Where he goes, hot times in the old town.
Yep.
Tuning. Ole!
He doesn't give a fuck.
He just says shit.
Or the part where he pretends to vomit on the crowd.
Oh my god. He is too much. Who let him do that? Who allows him to get away with this thing?
He's just such a ham, you know?
Yeah.
He's such a ham. And he's like great at being like a big stage ham, but like small stage ham is even better. Because like he truly loses all inhibitions. Because he's really like, we're all close to dying. It's hot. Fuck it.
Yeah.
You just need to watch it, okay? You need to watch it. They put it on YouTube a couple years ago. Bless him.
Yeah.
Go check it out.
It's free.
It is free. I wish there could be a future where we could do this again, you know? Like have this Maxwell moment again. It probably will not happen.
No.
But imagine if it did.
Maybe next year, God will grant us a wish. And my one wish will be to have one small performance. that you
get tickets to.
Yeah, that I get tickets to, that is also filmed so other people can experience it, of MCR on stage. And it's just a small club, maybe like 400 capacity. That's all I want. I'm not going to wish for world peace. I'm not going to wish for an end to world hunger.
You're not going to wish for world peace. Fuck it. You know, you get one wish. Hey, fuck world peace.
Yeah.
Overrated. Honestly, who needs it?
I mean, we don't, I guess. The world is ending in like a couple years anyway, so I'm not going to waste my wish on that.
The weird thing is that we actually attained world peace a couple months ago, but it came with the virus.
Oh, shit. Damn, you're right.
And then it's gone. Maybe someone did wish for world peace, and that's why all of this is happening, and it's worse.
Wow, okay, so like there's a djinn, right? And someone wishes for world peace, and they're like, are you sure it's gonna come at a cost? And they're like, yes, whatever. It's like, that's fine. World peace is the most important thing I could wish for. And they're like, okay.
Oh, no.
You got it. And this is what fucking happened.
Have this bat.
Have this bat.
I think that's honestly what happened.
God, maybe that guy was the one who wished for world peace, and he was like, okay, you just gotta eat this bat. He was like, sure, can do. And he fucking did it, and he killed everyone.
Yeah. But there was peace, briefly. Everything comes at a cost. Listen, if you learn anything from this podcast, here are some really important lessons to learn. Don't eat anything a fairy gives you.
Yeah.
And if a genie is giving you an opportunity to make a wish, Be really fucking careful, okay?
Be very specific.
Think small and set your limits.
Mm-hmm.
Define your terms in your wish before
Very
you end
clearly.
the sentence.
Yep.
Those are the two most important things we could possibly tell you.
Yeah. I can't think of anything else more important.
No.
Not a one thing.
But anyway, this show is incredible. I think the smallest show that we're gonna get to have of new MCR, Neo MCR, is the Shrine Show in December. I know.
God.
I think that was it, you know.
Yeah, that's probably the only show we're gonna get.
Oh, shows.
Oh,
I remember them.
shows.
All the plans. I had so many plans.
Best laid plans.
I don't know about anyone else, but since like all the show has been canceled since coronavirus, I kind of haven't been listening to MCR as much. And not that you can't go in and out of phases of listening to stuff, but I do think that watching shows like this, like Black Parade is Dead or Venganza, or even just like Life on the Murder Scene, we love a good old Life on the Murder Scene watch.
Mm-hmm.
Man, that can really fill your soul. So
yeah,
I recommend it, guys.
For sure. Like, I watched it this morning and I was like, wow. I
Just makes
remember
you
what
feel
happiness
better.
felt like.
It just makes you feel better. And like sometimes I'm like, oh, I just want to see the prison part of the Maxwell show. You know, I'm just like, I just want to see this one part of the Maxwell show. And then I, of course, watch the entire thing.
Yeah.
I don't mean to, it just like happens. So if you are feeling like you're missing something in your life, maybe this will fix it.
That's what you're missing.
Yeah. It's usually what you're missing. Especially watching the Maxwell show because, I don't know, just something about that, like seeing this band at the absolute height of their power with this incredible, you know, landmark record playing in this tiny club to a bunch of extremely earnest teenagers. Like something about that really brings this album in particular and this band and like the whole thing to life, you know? Because this album is so glam. It's such a high concept. There's so much lore involved in it and all of the costumes and the world building, and then you get to see this album played with these guys in street clothes in a tiny, grimy club, and it's just like the transformative power of rock, man. And I don't know. That's why I love this show. It gets me energized just watching it. I love it.
Yeah.
So, let us move on.
Mm-hmm.
Because even though a lot of stuff has been canceled, we still thankfully got Umbrella Academy Season 2. And we have to talk about it. We are just contractually obligated.
Mm-hmm.
This was, I think, maybe a better season than Season 1.
Yeah, I thought so too.
I just really enjoyed this season. I really loved everything with Allison. Luther became someone who didn't super annoy me. Also, this is a bunch of spoilers, so just, you know, be aware. But like, I thought Luther was a great character this season.
Yeah, I liked him a lot better. Once he apologized and like decided that he didn't want to fucking shoot Vanya.
Yeah.
Then I was like, okay, he's more chill now. He's much better.
He's learning.
Oh, wow, growth.
Imagine a man that learns lessons about his own behavior.
Imagine a man that learns.
This is something we can only see in fantasy television.
That's true.
But it's so good, man. It's so good. And then, of course, speaking of Vanya, oh my God.
Can we?
I'm living for this lesbian MILF romance.
Oh my gosh. Can we let her live in peace without the memory of trauma and just let her be a happy cottagecore lesbian?
It was so beautiful.
It was nice. I'm just glad that Harlan's mom didn't die, you know?
I know, I really was afraid she's gonna die because it's the cliche. You know, it sucks that they didn't get to stay together. I know why they couldn't because of like timeline shit. Right. I just like, I'm glad that we have moved on beyond the trope of lesbian lovers dying. But I think we're still in the trope of lesbians not getting to be together.
Yeah, they don't get to be happy.
I'm trying to think of like a show where two lesbians have gotten together and get to stay together, and I really can't think of one. Because like I recently watched the movie A Portrait of a Lady on Fire, which I really enjoyed.
Yeah.
It was really wholesome and has some really like affirming, lesbian moments. And I want to rewatch it every moment of every day because it just feels so good.
Mm-hmm.
But they still don't get to stay together.
Nope.
Damn it.
Yeah. The only thing that I'm thinking of is Steven Universe, but then again, I didn't finish Steven Universe, so anything could have happened.
Alas. But I'll still take it,
Yeah, media has betrayed us, but what can we expect? So Allison this season, let's talk about Allison. She, I think...
Allison's a fucking badass this season.
Yeah, she had one of the most interesting arcs, I think. She couldn't speak for a year.
Mm-hmm.
She's, they're in the early 60s. She was literally almost assaulted 4 seconds into the year that she went into. She runs into a salon where other black women automatically square up with these white dudes. They're like, we're ready to fight. And she gets involved in the civil rights movement. She has a husband.
Who's great also.
Yeah,
Her
I
husband
love
is great.
him.
It was so good. It was so good.
Yeah.
It was so relevant, even though it wasn't necessarily supposed to be relevant to the time when it was released.
Yeah. But I don't know if you listened to the Behind the Scenes Umbrella Academy podcast.
Not yet.
Emmy, I can't remember her last name, the actress that plays Allison, talked about the relevancy of her storyline. And even obviously back in 2019, when they filmed it, it was still relevant. Like the same stuff was going on. So I think it was intentional. At least they had some awareness of, what's the word I'm looking for? Like the culture it was being released into,
Mm-hmm. I also really liked the more realistic portrayal of feminism, like sometimes when you're talking about like a movie or a film that's like taking place in the 60s and it's like, we're going to do feminism as like an issue, and we're going to highlight it. It like becomes very like cheesy.
Mm-hmm.
And it was super, I don't know, just like subtle and realistic as to like what happened here about like, the women who own the salon using their space, first of all, as like an organizing space. And then also Allison eventually, even though Ray is in jail, getting the sit-in to go ahead. I don't know. It really stuck out to me as something that I enjoyed a lot.
Yeah.
First of all, that it was in the plot. And then second of all, that like it wasn't made out to be like, oh, a renegade woman. A renegade woman making things happen. Like,
right.
It wasn't like that Allison was like this feminist renegade. It was that like all the women were very powerful.
Right. Exactly. Yeah.
So I really like that. Oh, 5 is also pretty excellent in this one.
Oh yeah, I loved 5 this season.
I love his murder scene. Because you don't get to see that a lot, and like that was so highlighted in the comics, and it's just it's really fun.
Yeah.
To see him mass murder a bunch of people.
Oh boy. Yeah. Oh, speaking of 5 and the commission, I loved the handler. I loved Lila. They were great. What's his fucking name? The fish. You know who I'm talking about. There's only one
AJ
fish.
Carmichael.
Sure. The way he died.
Yes.
I saw him, and every time that I thought he was about to be killed, I was like, she is not going to eat that fish. She is not going to eat that fish. But then she does.
There was a lot of goldfish swallowing in Umbrella Academy, or like there's a lot of it
in the MCR universe. Yeah.
It's just like a motif.
What is it? What is it with that?
I don't know. I don't know.
Oh man, I just thought that was great. I just thought it was great.
She did indeed swallow that fish.
She did.
Oh my god. And Diego is also like a much better character this season, I think.
Yeah, he had a lot of growth in this season.
Yes.
Like, he finds that his worth is not dependent upon what his father thinks of him. He, like, opens himself up to another person.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was awesome.
He's still kind of a dick to Vanya, but,
yeah.
But, like, he's working on it, and
Baby
he's
steps.
not, he's not, like, indiscriminately a dick anymore as much.
Yeah.
The plot, of course, is super different from the comics.
Yeah.
Because they use most of the plot points of actual Dallas in the first season. And, you know, in the comics, the Kennedy assassination is like Allison helps it go down, where she takes the place of Jackie. And I think she like rumors JFK's like head exploding instead of someone shooting him. But that obviously doesn't happen here. But the thing that is similar is that at the end of the second season, they meet the Sparrows.
Yeah.
Who are like this alternate Umbrella Academy. And that happens at the end of Hotel Oblivion in the comics. So I think maybe they're just skipping Hotel Oblivion, which is fair, because it would be weird to make a show out of, given what the show is right now.
Yeah, I haven't read Hotel Oblivion, so I don't know what happens in that series. But I've heard about the Sparrows. It's gonna be interesting. Also, Ben.
Yeah,
Is that
Ben is there?
Yeah, is that in the comics that Ben?
No, well,
is like HBIC.
We don't really see Ben in the comics because he's not as much of a character in the comics as he is in the show.
Yeah.
So, like, you just see this one or these two panels of the Sparrows at the end, and you can see who they are, but we don't know their names or anything yet. So it's unclear if Ben is actually in the Sparrows in the comics. He could be. I think there are 6 people in the Sparrows in the comics, and then this cube. So there maybe is someone missing, you know? Which could be Ben. Or also in the comics, you have this plot point of like Grace the mother trying to like get Vanya to join the Sparrows or something. So I don't know how that's gonna go down in the comics, but I do think that they're skipping Hotel Oblivion, which would make sense because like Hotel Oblivion is kind of, I mean, it kind of takes place already in like a capsule universe, so it kind of makes sense.
Got it.
But that means that none of us, if that's true, then none of us have any idea what's happening for the next season because the comics aren't out yet after Hotel Oblivion.
Yeah, they might go, well, I mean, if Gerard doesn't hurry up, they might go a Game of Thrones route.
I mean, it's already so original, you know, and so
it's very
different from the comic plots. So it's really just like, it's kind of more like fan fiction, you know?
Yeah, it's like based on very loosely.
Like you got the characters, you know, and like some of the plot points and the settings. But like how it's all going down is very different.
Yeah.
Which is fine, you know? They're different like media. So, but I don't know, I was really thrilled. I also really enjoyed the soundtrack.
Oh my gosh, the soundtrack is always great.
So great. And Klaus's cult. Klaus was sort of, I feel like Luther sort of took the place of Klaus as like the main like comic relief, you know? I mean, Klaus still has his Klaus moments. Yeah. But he was sort of a little bit downplayed this season.
Yeah, for sure.
Did I hear that there's going to be a Klaus spinoff?
I did hear something about that. I mean, I know the comic is coming out.
I think people were like talking about a spinoff, but I don't think it's been like confirmed.
Yeah.
I hope there is not a Klaus spinoff. Spinoffs are never good.
Yeah, no, I'm not a super fan of spinoffs, so
we shouldn't do that.
Klaus can stay where he is.
Anyway, I really liked this season. I'm going to rewatch it again. I've only watched it once so far, but I'm probably going to rewatch it.
Yeah, I got a couple of my friends into Umbrella Academy. So we're just going through the first season now, so we're gonna get to the second season eventually.
Also glad that like, you know, Ben isn't gonna be gone from the show because I was very concerned for a second when he like disintegrated.
I was sad.
It was very sad. Also, don't fuck with time, you know, like. Wouldn't you think that Klaus would know better than to go back and try and convince Dave not to go into the army? What are we doing here?
I know.
Amateurs.
Like, Jesus.
You can't just do that, Klaus.
Mm-mm.
What a dumbass.
Doesn't work like that.
Oh, I do want to shout out that one part of the show that I really liked was when, I think it's like Allison, Vanya, and Klaus are hanging out. And Klaus is talking to Allison and is like, talking about Luther, and Vanya doesn't remember what happened, and so they're trying to explain, and they're like, we had a thing, and then Vonnie was like, but isn't he our brother?
Uh-huh.
And Allison's like, technically.
If you have to use the word technically.
Yeah, I think people need to chill the fuck out about like the incest issues. Like, some people on the internet make too much out of everything, where they're like, this can't be in a show because if it is, you're condoning it. And that's not what that means.
That's not how that works at all.
And also, like, if someone is committing incest, not saying that it's cool, but like, is it your problem? Probably not, right? It's probably not your business. And it probably has to do with like abuse, right?
Right, absolutely.
So we can all chill out. But I liked that like shout out to the issue of their relationship.
Yes. Yeah, they addressed it, kind of. They talked about it. They mentioned it.
Because like it kind of started with like the Luther and Allison thing, and then we just sort of like let it go as the season went on. And so I wonder if that's a correction, like a revision they're going to make, where it's like, I don't know if we actually like this romance.
Yeah, we should not do that anymore.
You know, I say this whenever we talk about Umbrella Academy, but I just still can't believe that we're living in a world where this is real. And like Gerard's Warped Tour bus sketches have resulted in this.
Yeah.
Can we marvel at that?
Yeah, we sure can.
What are the odds?
Yeah, it's pretty wild. He's had a pretty wild life, so good for him.
Sometimes I'm like, am I too into MCR, you know? And then sometimes I'm like, but it really does feel like somehow they're in like the center of culture at all times.
Yeah.
Like, is it just me?
No, not at all. I think in some way they kind of are.
It just like, it just feels almost scripted. Like, I kind of feel like I'm in a simulation.
Wow.
And I'm like, is it just that I'm paying a lot of attention, or is it real? Because like somehow it's just like, how are they always the center of everything somehow?
Right. Yeah, people I work with watch Umbrella Academy.
Yeah, like people who don't know shit about any of the crap we've talked about on this podcast.
Yeah.
Life is very odd.
Mm-hmm.
But do you have anything else to mention, Haley?
Not a one thing.
Not a one thing. Okay.
Mm-mm.
Well, it's time to move on and talk about some fanecdotes, because we still have a couple.
All right. So let's move into some fanecdotes then. We haven't done this in a hot minute. So we have one from Genevieve. And Genevieve says, I've been a huge MCR fan for about 15 years now. I know you probably get a ton of these emails, as we all know that MCR has an unprecedented way of connecting with fans in many ways through their music. But I'm hoping that sharing my story will ignite something within another MCR fan. Maybe what I share will help them. Content warning on this fanecdote for mentions of suicide and self-harm. My journey with MCR began in 2005, rest in peace MySpace. I used to watch music videos every morning before I went to school in middle school. I would flip channels between MTV and VH1 and just enjoy whatever was on at the time. I was particularly intrigued one day while eating breakfast. The Ghost of You was shown on MTV. There was something so alluring about the music video, it drew me in and almost brought me to tears every time the video ends, as Gerard called out to his brother. Gerard is kind of a great actor, ? It was gut-wrenching and really impacted me. Middle school was the beginning of my bouts with depression, and I was so excited to feel so deeply about something. My friend at the time knew exactly who MCR were and was just as obsessed as I was. She showed me their other music videos. She even got Life on the Murder Scene, and we watched it almost every weekend when I went to sleep over. We even tried to start an MCR cover band. Who didn't, girl? My Chem has always been a positive light with my mental health. The songs were dark and gritty, but made me feel like I wasn't alone in some way. In 8th grade, I almost ended my life. I had a weapon in my hand, but fortunately, I was talking to a friend on AOL Instant Messenger. She reminded me what Gerard said in Life on the Murder Scene. Suicide is fucking bullshit. You cannot destroy me. I think I wrote that on my arm in Sharpie for the next month. In 2007, I saw MCR on the Project Revolution tour, and that moment was such a deep reminder of the preciousness of life. An army of voices rang out over the stadium, singing, "I am not afraid to keep on living." I've always had a deep relationship with music and thought myself as a musician. I've never been a great guitar player, but I felt I was good I felt I was a good writer and performer. I had been writing my own music since I was a kid, but MCR really inspired me to be proactive about getting involved in music. Through their music, they showed me that it was okay to be fucked up, it was okay to be different, and release your complicated emotions through music, especially as I was dealing with depression and anxiety. This eventually led to me fronting other bands as I got older. I'm sure you would be happy to know that on Halloween in 2018, my band Soul Meets Body did a whole MCR cover set. One of my super unrealistic dreams is to sing with MCR on stage, but this was the next best thing. Channeling my inner Gerard Way was extremely fun and emotional, as I feel very connected to the band and their music. That cover set will forever be one of the highlights of my music career. Oh, and I managed to get return tickets. I'll be at their first New Jersey show on September 22nd. Rest in peace.
Oh, no.
Maybe next year. She said, I'll be meeting up with some other fans I've met through the MCR emo posting group on Facebook.
No.
No, you're not.
Alas, we would have been there, but we're not.
Yeah. I am forever grateful for my coworkers that agreed to have me leave the school where I work for an hour and a half to get those tickets. I'm not really sure how to end this except for saying thank you, Kat and Haley, for doing what you do with My Chemical Fancast. Stay safe and wash your hands. Best wishes, Genevieve.
Best wishes to you, Genevieve. Sorry that our lives changed for the worse this year.
Yeah.
Oh, man. All right. I have a fan anecdote from one of our patrons, Michaela Zikmandova. And she says, "Hi there. It's your patron number 69. Nice." Having heard and enjoyed all the wonderful fan anecdotes, I thought it would be a good idea to share my MCR story with you as well. Full disclosure, I'm not from the US or the UK, I'm Czech, so European. Despite the location, it's not a particularly original story, but that might just make it relatable for fellow listeners. When I was 13, I lost a member of my immediate family that I was really close with, which completely broke me, as one would expect. It was a really dark time, and it is particularly difficult to pin down the timeline. Memory can be a funny thing when you are in a bad place. However, among the confusion and sadness of the following years, I can pinpoint 2005. That's when, on one of the evenings I would spend at my grandma's house, I caught a glimpse of the Ghost of You video on some English-speaking music channel. Even with my then not at all proficient comprehension of English, I felt understood and seen. I felt like I might have found what I was looking for. Not pity, but someone who would, capitals, get it. However, we did not have internet at home at the time, and I also did not take a note of the artist or the title. Genius move on my end. How did I manage to find them again, you ask? In a typical mid-aughts way. My classmate's MP3 player had a couple of revenge songs on it, including Ghost of You. After I established who they were, I tried to watch and listen to any MCR content whenever I could, e.g. on a family computer at my friend's house, or I would go to the public library and print out the lyrics, sometimes even fix. It took me till 2006 to fully immerse myself into the world of MCR as a barely 15-year-old. And by doing so, I became an insufferable token emo of the class, the emo cousin of the family, and so on, while denying all accusations of being an emo naturally. Tragically, I was the cringiest teenage to young adult fan. In the early days, I was a proper fangirl with no filter and a blog. I made a bunch of fanfic writing internet pals I would occasionally see at various MCR-related meetups in Prague. Eventually, we would all grow up, get a grip, and drop what was sometimes very gatekeepy behavior. Not a good look, not at all what MCR are about, and I'm mortified thinking back to some of the things I said and did. That's being a teenager, I guess. Despite the tensions in the community, a lot of the people I met back then are my good or close friends to this day. They were my uni flatmates, drinking buddies, travel companions, you name it. This band had opened up a whole other dimension of music enjoyment for me, as well as giving me my friends. I started listening to many different genres of music, started traveling for music before I even turned 18, when I could afford it. And thanks to all that, I've made a load of memories I can now hold on to when I struggle to recall earlier stages of my life due to grief or perhaps what I came to realize was depression. As for seeing MCR live, I was somewhat lucky with my timing, because even though the Green Day tour 2005 did not take them to Prague, the Black Parade tour 2007 delivered the boys right to me as headliners. I got to see them once more before they broke up during the Danger Days era at the Rock for People festival. Finally from the front row as an experienced gig goer. It was an interesting day because the bands playing before them were the Wombats and White Lies, quite the roller coaster of emotions. And finally, Gerard included Prague in his solo tour in 2015, so the old emo gang got together for it, and we all cried. Not to sound cheesy as hell, but their reunion has awakened something in me again. I've lived most of the decade without them being active as a band, never feeling like there was a huge part of me missing or anything like that. Don't get me wrong, I grieved for them when they broke up. I was crushed. But in the end, life did go on just fine without them. That's until they got back together, and I thought, hang on a minute. I literally wouldn't be where I am if I never knew them, and my life would have been completely different. And significantly more lonely. You can draw a straight line from that day in my grandma's living room, sitting in front of the TV as a sad wee teen, to where I am now, both mentally and geographically, living in my favorite place in the world, Scotland. That's a whole other story, but believe it or not, they influenced all of my decisions that led me here. Anyhow, I want to thank you for this podcast. I'm very much enjoying your dissections, theories, and insight. I'm especially grateful you give the fans this platform to tell their story, because personally, I needed a redo. I'll explain. The boys were gifted a fan-made book of fanecdotes in 2007 organized by the Czech MCR fan site. My entry made it in, but it was so bad, I'm in awe they would even consider it as a filler. I've not read it in over a decade. I hope I never have to again. So thank you again for doing this. It felt really good to put this out there as a 28-year-old. Take care, Michaela. Oh, Michaela also had plans to go to the Milton Keynes date.
Damn.
Yeah. Sorry.
We're struggling out here.
We really are, but thank you for the anecdote, Michaela. That was nice.
Yeah.
Rough. Oh God, so rough. I also relate to the idea of not wanting to read like letters that you wrote as a kid, because I have some and they're really bad, and I hope I never have to read them.
Yeah. Well, okay. Now listen. I didn't this is going to sound off topic, but it's on topic. I didn't download TikTok for a very long time. Mm-hmm. Because I refused to get into it, because I heard that people spend hours and hours on it, and I was like, I don't need another thing that's going to drag me in for hours. But I downloaded it, and I was just scrolling through videos, and there was one that someone was like talking about reading their diary from when they were in 3rd grade, and they were like laughing at it, and they were like, this is so fucking stupid, this is embarrassing. And then they were like thinking about like, say you were reading a diary from a current 3rd grader, like a current 9-year-old, and you were laughing at it.
Yeah.
That's shitty. It's a child, and that's their thoughts. So don't laugh at your former child self, because that's their thoughts, that's their feelings. And you wouldn't laugh, you wouldn't laugh at a 9-year-old, so don't laugh at yourself.
It reminds me of like, you wouldn't steal a car. Yeah, like definitely. Like sometimes I think that we need to look back on our past selves with more compassion.
We do.
But also I think I've told this story before, that like in 8th grade, they had us write letters to our senior high school graduating selves. Mm-hmm. And my letter that I wrote myself as an actual 13-year-old is awful. Like, I was a terrible person.
Oh my gosh.
I was a terrible person, and I just like was very like edgy, and I don't know. I just like, I would have compassion for this child, because they are a child, and I understand that they're going through a phase, and whatnot. But also, I'd be really annoyed by this child. Like, if that child was in front of me, I would really want to slap that child. So I do agree that we should be more compassionate about our past selves, especially like a 3rd grader. Like, come on.
Yeah.
But also, sometimes it just hurts thinking about the things you did as a teenager. It's just like, that wasn't a good thing to do.
Yeah, I get it. I mean, everyone does it, but
But that is a good message, guys. Be compassionate to yourself.
Yeah, show compassion to your current self, your past self, your future self.
Yes. It's hard to be a human in the world, okay?
Especially now.
But now it's the fun part. Haley, what's your song of the week?
My song of the week is called Golden Star by My Brightest Diamond.
I always felt so far from you.
I've been trying to get into more like chill, like Enya vibe music lately.
Mm-hmm. I feel that.
And this, because it's just calming. And this kind of fits the bill for me, so I really like them.
Cool. My song of the week, if it was like being honest about what I've played the most on Spotify, would definitely just be like generic coffee shop sounds, like coffee shop ambient sounds. I've been playing a lot of sounds of like coffee shop busyness to make me feel like I'm out in the world again. But that is not a song. So I don't know. A lot of my songs are like just stuff like that's been on repeat. But something I've been getting back into again is Hozier, because as with you, I'm also looking for more chill vibes, you know?
Yeah.
So Hozier provides me some chill vibes. I'm just imagining that I'm with a man in the woods. He's got an acoustic guitar, you know? So one of the songs I've been listening to is from Eden.
Babe, there's something tragic about you, something so magic about you. Don't you agree? Babe, there's something lonesome about you.
Hozier's like a very chill dude, you know?
Yeah, for sure.
I feel like he's the embodiment of cottagecore for men, and that he has a cottage in the woods.
Well, hasn't he been claimed by the lesbians, so it would be lesbian cottagecore.
I'm unaware of his status of lesbian.
I think he's one of the men that's been claimed. I'm pretty sure.
All right, it's time to thank our patrons. If you don't know, we have a Patreon. You can find it at patreon.com/chemicalfancast. If you want to support us, and you want to support our podcast, you can go on there. And if you pledge $2 more a month, you will get your name on this handy dandy list, and I'll read it every single episode. Though we are going to be shutting down soon, so you know, we appreciate your support, but also
it's going to end soon.
It's cool if you don't do it. It's fine. But thank you so much to our patrons who have supported us through this entire thing. We've appreciated it so much.
Wild.
This is a big thank you to Tim Malpass. Honestly, can we just stop for a second? True OG.
True OG. That was our first patron.
I know. Like, oh my God, Tim.
Wow.
Imagine supporting us through this whole thing.
What a G.
Tim Malpass, Vienna Langton, Gabby Dauber, The Boy Phantom, my mom, Tara LaMantia, Cherith McGregor, Katie Kelly, Melissa Contreras, Phil Grant, Emma Johnson, Caitlin Carnes, Anne-Louise Mullen, Dominic Ray, Liz Roswell, Bertha Villa, Jen Schillingberg, Vanessa Romano, Brianna Tong, Cassie Witt, Patricia Ignacio, Darcy Sheltman, Ella Bird, Jasmine Brett, Rihanna Graff, Haley's sister, Casey Gerhart, Jacob Grimm, Alex Hasman, Iris Splendens, Jessica Labrizi, Montana Miller, Sarah Joe, the Millennial Freelancer, Bonnie, Katie Tingy, Kale Haley, Fifi Marr, Megan, Emily Ronquillo, Brooke Tara, Kini Noriega, Slimiri Viggerts, Charlie Needles, Kathleen Harlow, Kristen Knight, Lisa Ridnor, Christine Gears, Rick, Kirsten McNelly, Joanna Van Tyne, Robin, Alina Guerre, Kathleen D, Clarissa Thomas, Olivia Elliott, Jess Acton, Ray, Sam Newkirch, Jessica Taylor, Phantoms Forever, Tara Smith, Gigi, Jennifer Tashina, Allison Morris, Lucy Tima, Becky Hyde, Olivia Hamilton, Karen Eastlass, FT Wills, Layla Maddie, Sally from Melbourne, Evan Gorey, Sylvia, Michaela Zygmundova, Sage Ferris, Nicholas Reed, Emma Wilson, Kelly Vincent, Stephanie Diaz, Fjolnir Thoranishan, Christina Sinkovic, Lena Mueller, the Self-Worth Habit YouTube channel, Amelia, Remus, Siobhan Sweeney, Butterscotch Collins, Kiora Engelman, Sophie Clemmy, Jay, Joe Scullery, Shaw Backhouse, Francis, and Misery Unplugged. Thank you all so much for supporting our podcast. We really appreciate it.
Wow.
Haley, if people want to talk to us, where can they find us?
They can find us on Twitter and Instagram at Chemical Fancast, Facebook My Chemical Fancast, and if you want to chat, email us at mychemicalfancast@gmail.com.
Probably, I'm going to regret saying this out loud, but I'm still going to do it. Probably our next episode will be our final episode. Our final episode until something happens, you know, until we poke MCR with a stick and they do something. You know.
I know, yeah.
But until something happens, you know, we'll be in hibernation. And whenever something occurs, you know, we will pop back out.
Yeah, like cicadas.
Like cicadas. Yes, I think we've said that before, and it's still a really good metaphor. Like cicadas. And then when the thing goes away and stops happening, then we will die and you'll crunch us under your feet, also like cicadas, and we will just leave our shells behind.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's sort of the plan for the podcast.
To die on the sidewalk and leave our shells on the floor.
Yeah. But I do want to mention, it's very important if you're listening to this podcast and you are of age and you are in the United States, please register to vote and then actually vote in November.
Oh my God.
I can't
Vote.
explain to you how important this is. It's like, it's not even, he's even admitted that he's trying to like, you know, damage the election.
Yeah,
So,
he's literally admitted to voter suppression. So like,
yeah, we're I mean, we were already living in like a fascist state, but like it's worse now. So like,
it's like out in the open now, you know?
yeah, it's very important, you know, and plan maybe if it's possible to vote in person. But if you cannot vote in person and you have to vote by mail, please do it really far in advance. Or there's even a way where you can like request an absentee ballot and then drop it off in person.
Yeah, I was just going to say that.
Yeah. And then also, you know, rules for registering to vote are different in different states. And also the fact that we even has to register to vote is a holdover from slavery. But like rules are different in different states, but it might be easier than you think to register. Like in Georgia, for instance, you can register online. You don't have to, you know, like have like sometimes, especially young people, they get hung up on like the address on your license versus like your actual address versus like your voting address. In Georgia, at least, for instance, those things don't have to match up. Just like take a second when you have a chance, make sure that you're registered, check out that, you know, you've signed all the forms you need to sign or whatever, and really make sure that's locked down, because this is a very important election. And it's really important that you vote, especially because people are trying to have you not vote.
People are trying to suppress you. People are trying to destroy you.
That's right. And what have we learned?
What have we fucking learned? I
Please
hope
vote.
you just shouted it out in your car, in your office, in your home, wherever you listen to this. I hope you just shouted the answer out, because if you don't know by now, I don't know where the fuck you've been. Please vote.
Please vote. Please vote. Please vote. Especially if you're young. Please do it.
Yep,
Please.
That's that on that.
All right. Have a fabulous day. Please still social distance. We're not quite done with this yet. Keep your mask on, you know, stay at home if you can, and take care of yourselves.
Yeah.
And we'll see you all next time.
Goodbye.
Bye.